All right, for more on this, let's now cross to SABC News correspondent Nick Harper, who is live for us in Washington, D.C. Nick, a very good afternoon to you. So the white Afrikaners, 49 of them, which is a reduced number to the various numbers that have been reported on, are now expected to arrive this morning, your time. Just walk us through what time their chartered plane is expected to land there and what happens once they arrive in the U.S.
Well, good afternoon. They are expected here in the next few hours. It is just gone 9 a.m. here in Washington. We are expecting them by about midday, ahead of a press conference that we're told is going to be taking place at 1 p.m. local time, a press conference that will be run by the State Department. They say that they will be there on hand to welcome the Afrikaners in really a break of protocol. You would not normally have high-level officials from the State Department welcoming people who've been entered into the United States on this refugee relocation program. But I think that really speaks to what Donald Trump is trying to do here. We have seen that deterioration of relations between the US and South Africa, and obviously South Africa completely disagrees with Donald Trump's claim that these people who are leaving and coming to the US have been racially discriminated against. But Donald Trump, time and time again over the last 3.5 months since he came into office, has been trying to drive a wedge between the US and South Africa, particularly unhappy with how they have responded to the ongoing conflict in Gaza. For example, the fact that South Africa has taken Israel to the International Criminal Court. Donald Trump stands in stark opposition to that. So he has created an opportunity, a media opportunity later today, which will really be a photo opportunity for the US to be able to wave the flag, to be able to blow the trumpets, to really make a tremendous amount of noise and fanfare with these 49 Afrikaners entering the United States. Just really a further point to be made there by the United States government that it is welcoming in these people at a time that it feels they have been abandoned by their country and treated very badly.
And I mean, just on that note, blow the trumpet and this fanfare. I don't know if you heard President Cyril Ramaphosa saying that, you know, people that are relocating to the U.S. do not qualify to be called refugees. And again, when you consider that the refugee process in the United States is a lengthy one, anything between 18 to 24 months, we're told. What's been the reaction then on the ground in the U.S. about the 49 white Afrikaners from South Africa en route to that country? While there are many refugees fleeing famine and war, you know, that must wait longer. And now, of course, we know that that process is halted. So what's been the reaction on the ground, particularly, as you say, Nick, you know, that there is going to be much fanfare around their arrival?
Well, you're right. And you mentioned the word war there, because that's exactly what this refugee program was set up for, to allow people who are in conflict zones, who have had to flee their homes, perhaps even their home country because of war, people who've ended up being involved in natural disasters. All of those types of people have the opportunity to enter the United States under this refugee relocation program. But the big problem here is that when Donald Trump returned to the White House just a few months ago, he essentially suspended that relocation program for the vast majority of refugees around the world, including refugees on the African continent, some who've been caught up in the conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo. All of those people can no longer enter the United States. And that normal 18-month to 2-year process, this has been completely fast-tracked for the white South Africans. They have had really just a weeks-long process to get them to this point where they are on a plane heading to the United States. So really the Trump administration has rewritten the rule book on this, but they do argue that the Afrikaners that they're letting in do qualify for this refugee status. We heard from the Assistant Secretary for the White House, Stephen Miller. He said that really this was what it was all about, this refugee program. He said that it gives them a condition to relocate here. He said it fits the textbook definition of why the refugee program was first created.
Nick, thank you so much for that update. We'll catch up with you a little bit later on. Nick Harper, live for us in Washington, D.C. Of course, he is the SABC News correspondent. And as he says there, it does seem like, this is a rewriting of the rule book, as it were.